Welcome back to Sunday Night Spookies, the podcast dedicated to exploring the mysterious and the spooky unknown. My name is Lex.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is episode 18, The Paris Catacombs.
Catacombs. Mm-hmm. So we had a weird roundabout way to get to this episode.
We sure did. What were we even talking about? We were talking about, like, animals that have adapted to have no eyes.
Yeah. Like, some, like, deep-sea creatures don't have eyes.
Yeah. Because they don't need it. It's dark.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. And then I was just like, oh, kind of like I don't know what the name is for, like, the creepy people animals that are in the catacombs in As Above, So Below.
Yeah, the movie As Above, So Below. Great movie, by the way. We should watch it.
It came out in 2014, so I don't think we're going to, like, spoil anything.
Yeah, no.
If you haven't seen it yet, you're not going to see it. Probably.
But people?
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah, they don't have eyes because they don't need it because it's dark down there.
Yeah.
So that's how we got.
And we're like, oh, Paris Catacombs. That's a creepy place.
Let's do that episode. And we know that we'll probably never go there. At least not in, like, any of the near future.
Yeah, no. That's a lot of money and time and effort to get there.
Yeah. So we just thought we would do an episode on it. It's not really like a location episode, but kind of.
Yeah, and it's creepy.
Yeah, we're not on location, but it's mysterious, spooky.
Location.
Kind of gross.
Yeah. Real gross when we get into the story of it.
Oh, great.
So, if you don't know what the catacombs are, sorry.
Yeah.
They're really cool. It's basically like these underground tunnels in Paris that are filled with human bones. Mm-hmm. Ornately placed human bones.
Yep.
And I just kind of thought, I don't really know what I thought. I don't know how they came about. And I think that's why one of the reasons we decided to do an episode about it, because we're like, how the fuck did those get started?
Yeah.
Like,
right. Like we kind of knew what they were, like caverns of skulls.
Yeah, but like why?
But why? Yeah.
So the catacombs are a large network of underground ossuaries, which contains the remains of more than 6 million people. 6 million people. And they're comprised of a massive tunnel system that was normally part of like old rock quarries. And that's like why there's tunnels and large spaces underneath Paris, is because it was quarries. That's where they mined minerals, materials, whatever
they were mining then.
There's only a little part of it that's open to the public. It spans across all of Paris. Like, they're huge.
It was like 250 kilometers. I might have made that up, but that's
200 something kilometers, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part that's open to the public goes 20 meters below ground, which is an equivalent to a 5-story building.
When you think about it like that, that's like really deep. When you said 20 meters, I'm like, oh, that's like...
That's why I tagged it on there, because I thought that too, and I read it. I'm like, 20 meters is not that bad, and it's like equivalent to his 5-story building. I'm like, oh,
that's pretty down there.
Large. There are 131 steps leading down into the catacombs, and 112 steps to come back up, which I thought was weird. Mm-hmm. That there's not the same number.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm sure it's because like the width of the stairs have like gone down over time, or, you know, like things have eroded away, but I wanted to include it because I'm like, what?
Weird.
The area that's open to the public is 11,000 square meters, or 1.5 kilometers.
Okay.
It's about an hour's trek to get around the part that's open to the public, and I don't know if they're open now because of COVID.
Good question.
But
Probably not.
But you can either have a guided tour, you could have no tour guide, you can just like kind of wander down there, or there's like audio guides you can purchase and listen to while you're down there, which I thought the no tour guide thing is kind of cool. Like, you could just wander around down there, which I really liked.
Yeah, that's what I would want to do.
Like I said before, this is a very small portion of the catacombs. So as I said in the beginning, we were really curious as to how these got started because they started as rock quarries, but how are they filled with bones? Like, what's the connection there?
And how and why?
Mm-hmm. So back in the 17th century, Paris was a booming metropolis. It was becoming really popular. There's a ton of people living there. And disease and famine in the 17th century was really popular.
Popular.
Yeah, popular.
I love disease and famine.
Because, you know, hygiene was at its finest back in the 17th century. And so was, you know, medical
advancements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much disease and famine hit Paris that they were having trouble finding places to put their dead. They could, like, there was just so many of them. Mm-hmm. And when I was reading about this, it was, if any of you know the Spamalot or Monty Python's The Search for the Holy Grail,
no,
you have to watch it. It's so stupid. But it reminded me of that because and I played Patsy in high school. That was like my role. I still have my outfit and my coconuts. And there's one part where they have like some guy bringing out a wagon and it's like, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. And it's just, you bring out your dead bodies and throw them on a cart and then wheel them off. That's what it reminded me of. Because that's kind of what happened. Like there was just so many dead people.
Yeah.
From the plague or whatever. Right. So the French government tried coming up with many different solutions. One of the ones that they've actually did, I don't know why, was they dug up bodies and placed them inside the walls of the largest cemetery. They tried to just conceal every body into the large cemetery. And it's like, pardon my French, les innocents.
Literally.
Pardon my French.
Yeah.
But that was the largest cemetery in Paris at the time, was that one. And they just tried to contain everybody in the walls of it. Mm-hmm. So there's like stone walls around it. They just bury people on top of each other, 4 to a grave.
That's totally fine.
All of them in there.
Yeah.
Obviously that wasn't a great solution. And a lot of people started complaining of smell because the city was full of
corpse
smell. So much so that some of the like perfume shops of the time went out of business because they couldn't conceal the smell. Like it would, like that's such a random fact, but every article I read had mentioned something about the perfume shops not even be able to do anything.
Like, keep up with the demand or something. Like
yeah.
The perfumes weren't good enough to cover the corpse smell. Ew. Yeah.
Even weirder, in 1763, King Louis XV put a stop to all burials in Paris.
Okay. So what do you do if you're not burying them?
I don't know. Okay. And I could not find what they did with the rest of the bodies.
Sure.
I don't know if you had to travel outside of Paris to bury bodies.
Okay.
I think the point of it was like this specific cemetery is so full you cannot bury anybody else in it.
Right.
So people had to like go outside of the city to bury their dead.
Okay.
I'm assuming. Couldn't find much about it, but that was an actual like law he put on. The church obviously didn't appreciate that, and they tried to fight it because they're like, well, it's like to religious people, like burying your loved ones is like a ceremonial thing.
Yeah.
But nothing really ever happened with it. He put the ban on. The church couldn't move him. That was that. Until Louis XVI came in. Just a whole string of Louis. And he put an even weirder law in place that said all of the dead had to be moved out of Paris. He didn't want any cemeteries there. All of them had to be moved.
Okay. That's logical.
Oh, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. But again, nothing was ever really done about it.
Okay.
He just said that, like, eventually I'd like to move all of the bodies out of Paris.
The end.
That's like, it never happened.
Yeah.
Except when, in the spring of 1780, they had a prolonged period of rain. And with rain comes mud.
I read this.
And mudslides. And a river of rotting bodies flowing into the streets.
Because that's what happens.
That's literally what happened. That Les Innocents cemetery was so full of bodies that the rain broke down the stone, like eroded away the stone or whatever rudimentary cement they came up with to hold the walls in place, broke the walls down, and a flow of bodies filled the streets.
Yeah.
So obviously something that had to be done.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, nothing was done until 1786. So those 6 years, I don't know what they did, because bodies weren't officially moved into the catacombs until 1786. And at that point, most of the quarries had been kind of mined out. They were still running. Mm-hmm. And quarry workers were still working in there when people were being buried. So, like, if you go you can find pictures, and we'll post some pictures too, but as well as bone sculptures in the catacombs, there's also, like, sculptures of buildings or scenery that one specific guy, like, I read a story about a quarry worker on his lunch breaks while he was mining would set up these little monuments, or these little sculptures in there.
Yeah.
And that's part of the architecture of the catacombs. It's still there today. But that was one story. Like, during that time frame, bodies were still being buried there. Like, people were still bringing in bodies. So they thought, well, since most of them aren't being used, put all the bodies in there. And that's what they did. They just kind of threw them in there.
Okay. That's just like a recipe for a haunted location to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Let's put all of these bodies. Let's just stack them.
Yeah.
Separate their bones out, because some of their bones are, like, not all together.
No. They didn't keep people together.
Yeah, there's, like, walls of femurs and stuff. So
it took the city a total of 12 years to move all of the bodies and bones from that specific cemetery into the catacombs. 12 years. That's how many people were there. Some of the oldest bones there have dated back more than 1,200 years ago.
So
there was a lot of bodies in that cemetery.
Yeah.
A lot of bodies. More than 6 million.
Yeah.
Well, not more than 6 million in that cemetery. Because during the French Revolution, bodies were strictly buried in the catacombs. That's like, that was the cemetery of the French Revolution. Is
sure.
They're already there. Put more in. And then the city officially stopped moving bodies into the catacombs in 1860.
Okay.
And I read somewhere that the catacombs were open to the public in, like, 1806 or 1809.
Okay.
So they were still using...
They're still putting bodies in there?
They're still putting bodies in there.
Yeah, you guys can come visit, give a little tour.
Yeah.
But we're going to move this corpse past you.
Yeah.
Excuse us.
So I was reading all the history, and I was like, that's basically it. It's like, that's what happened. Cemeteries were overflown. They had to come up with somewhere to put them. They chose that. But then I was like, okay, but why bone walls? Why femur walls?
Right. Because it's like, it's not just like there's, like, skeletons just, like, laid out at all. It's not like that. There's, like, walls of skulls.
There's walls of specifically femurs.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that they specifically only used skulls and femurs to decorate the walls, the big, like, rotunda looking things.
Oh, yeah, like, they almost use, like, I don't want to, like, not, because it's not weight bearing, right? Like, it's like, but they have, like, a column.
Yeah.
Of femurs and skulls, just a big circular column.
And part of that is load bearing. That's kind of why they did it. The arrangement of the bones started because when you do quarries and you empty out quarries, or you're like trying to mine through it, there's specific ways that you place rubble to build walls as you go.
Yeah, and to stop it from caving in.
Right. And that's how this started. That's how the decoration of the bones started. They started moving them in accordance to how you would do a quarry. And then they started arranging them in sculptures and stuff. And the main ossuary that's in there, that's got the main bone sculpture, that was specifically built to bring in more tourists.
People are sick. I would go.
Yeah. I would love to go.
I'm one of those people, but, like, let's stack bones in a really ornate way and bring in people.
I would do that with animal bones, so I can't really talk.
It's fine.
I would definitely do that. It's like one of the guys we used to work with. I posted something on Facebook. It was a while ago now, but it was like, name one thing I would collect. And his first response was bones. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
It's fine.
So yeah, they were built specifically for tourism to bring more people in. And it's said that like I said, the main ossuary there, that's got like the big rotunda and the walls of femurs and all this kind of stuff, is supposed to make the tourist introspective and meditate about death. That was the point of it. They wanted tourists to look within themselves, meditate about like the meaning of life and death, what it means to die. There's also a bunch of like religious plaques and sculptures and stuff in there. There's more than just bones in there. There's like I said, little sculptures, little like architecture in there. They're really cool looking. Just a weird way to come about all of it.
I mean, you're definitely going to think about death when you're in there because you're surrounded by bodies.
6 million bones. 6 million people's bones.
So,
right above the entrance to the catacombs, there's a big stone inscription. And I'm not going to read it in French because my French is not that good. My voice teacher would have me. But it says, "Stop. This is the Empire of the Dead." Right above the main entrance to where tourists can actually get in and go. But that's how they came about.
Okay.
Kind of a weird... We need a solution to our overflowing cemeteries to... I'm going to set up a wall of femurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird place.
Yeah. I feel like we went from, like... I don't even want to say practical because I feel like putting your dead bodies into a cove underground is not really, like, a practical solution. But we went from, like, practicality to, like, oh, let's monetize on all of these dead people.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it like that, that sounds like...
But now when I say it out loud, that's literally what we do.
Yeah.
So, well, we're not monetizing, for the record.
Yeah, not yet.
But it's fine. Just exploiting dead people. It's totally cool. Yeah. It's fine.
Hey, other people can do it. Why can't we?
Yeah. I'm saying. So, there's a few urban legends, myths, more than a few. I'm going to talk about a few.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
And I urge you to look into the rest of them because it's really interesting things. But I'm going to talk about just a few. And the first is kind of like a legend that it's a little bit generic. It's like, well, duh, of course it's going to happen. But it says that if you're inside the Paris Catacombs after midnight, that disembodied voices will speak to you, and it's said that those voices will try to convince you to go deeper and deeper into the catacombs until you find yourself completely lost and unable to get out. That's
kind of like the As Above, So Below movie.
That movie is creepy. I don't like that. It's an okay movie. I don't like to be scared.
I love scary movies, and I'm never really affected by them. Like, there's only been a few in my life that have really, like, freaked me the hell out. And that one did, because it's not really, like, a B-rated movie, but it's... Because it's not, but it's, like, told by people that have their own video camera down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of thing. But that's a huge part of that movie is, like, hearing voices, like, because she's looking for something. Like, her dad was this famous archaeologist.
Or something like that.
And something is, like, buried in the catacombs, so she's trying to find it. And she keeps, like, no, we're almost close. We just gotta go deeper. We're closer. I feel it. We're closer.
Yeah.
And it's, like, these things that are talking to her. Just watch the movie. It's a good movie. It freaked me out, and not many scary movies do.
When I watched it, I was eating strawberry cheesecake. And there is a part in there that you don't want to be eating.
Anything red?
Anything red when it happens is all I'm saying. Because, like, I like to be scared in, like, what we do, like, going looking for ghosts. Like, ghosts don't really scare me, but, like...
It's a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
But, like, people with no eyes and, like, big-ass teeth kind of freak me out. So...
Making fun of my teeth.
It's fine. It's, like... All I'm saying is there has to be something in the catacombs.
Yeah, for 6 million... First of all, for 6 million people to be buried there, but also have, like, had shit burials, desiccated coconut.
That's fine.
Desecrated graves is what I wanted.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something.
At bare minimum, it's super haunted. At the very bare minimum. That doesn't even account for all the people that got lost in there.
Yeah.
Like, I would...
Well, because there's people, they're called cataphiles, and they're, because, like I said, only that tiny amount is open to the public. And there's, like, back entrances. There's entrances all over the city through the sewer system, because that's how you get into catacombs. That's how As Above, So Below did it. And that's, like, a true thing. You can get in there other ways.
Yeah.
Because people go in there all the time. That's, like, a whole, like, niche group of people that will go...
Yeah. If I go in there, I'm like dropping breadcrumbs or like tying a string to the outside and then like taking the string in with me and just like, just so I can't get lost.
Because people have gotten lost.
Yeah, many people, actually. So one of the creepiest legends takes place in the early 90s, like 1990s, not 1890s. So not that long ago, like 30 years ago. I'm not 30 yet, so it doesn't matter. So, so a group of people who study and explore and take care of the catacombs were walking through the darkened underground cemetery. And as they were walking, they found a video camera just laying on the ground. And they turned it on to see if there was any footage on it. And there was. They started watching the footage and they started hearing weird noises coming from inside the catacomb. Like
in real life?
In
like
real
they
life.
Heard it, not on the camera?
Like as they were watching the camera, they heard weird noises inside the catacomb. But they continued watching the footage on the camera, and it was basically a video of a man holding the video camera, like stressed, trying to find his way out. And it was very evident in the video that man was going crazy very quickly. So they continue to watch the video, and it ends super suddenly when the man drops it on the ground. And to this day, there's no inkling of who the man was, if he ever got out alive, or if his bones are still laying inside the catacombs. And that movie, As Above, So Below, is like loosely based / inspired by that man in the video.
Yeah, well, because that happens in the movie. Mm-hmm. They find like a camera.
Yep. So next we have the ghost of. Please just don't attack me. It's French name, and I don't speak French. We had the ghost of Philibert Aspert.
Yeah.
During the French Revolution, a man named Philibert Aspert was a doorman at the Val de Grace Hospital. He was sent to the cellar to find some kind of liquor. Don't understand that, like in a hospital, but that's fine.
If you're going to be a doctor in the 1700s, you got to drink on the job.
Well, especially if you're burying a ton of bodies due to famine.
Well, or they might just be getting the people drunk. Just be like, here, drink this. I'm going to cut your leg off.
Who knows? Or maybe they're just saying, like, maybe it's for sanitization purposes. Who knows? We don't know. So he went down to the cellar to find this random liquor that somebody wanted. And on his way down to the cellar, he accidentally ended up in the catacombs. Not sure how that happened.
Did they just have a tunnel that, like, was that their morgue for all intents and purposes?
No idea.
I mean, at the French Revolution, they were putting bodies in there.
So maybe they just like cleared a wall so they could just
bring
everybody down easily. Right. So he only took a single candle with him. And
he wasn't supposed to be gone that long.
Right. He was just going to get liquor from the cellar and ended up in the catacombs. Why you continued going into the catacombs once you realize you're not in the cellar anymore? Not sure. But
okay, yeah.
So, single candle, he went down. He became incredibly lost and confused because he was alone. Because it was so just like pitch black. It's pitch black with one candle. There's no way you're seeing anything.
Yeah, with rain and bones, it's fine. There
was some like speculation that he might have been intoxicated at the time. He did go to get alcohol, after all. And it was so dark, completely possible for him to escape the catacombs, and his candle blew out. So,
well,
just a little bit.
My candle's out.
God, I'm stuck.
I will sit here and die.
Yep. So 11 years later, a group of cataphiles, the people who take care of the catacombs, uncovered his body 11 years later.
How do they know it was him?
Well, they were able... I have the answer. Oh. They were... For once in my life, I have the answer to a question that you're asking.
I ask a lot of really dumb questions anyway.
They were able to identify him by the key ring of hospital keys that were hanging from his belt. So, he's now buried there.
The keeper of keys.
Yeah, literally.
Dylan will get it. Camera guy Dylan.
Just don't even watch us. Who knows? It's fine. It's totally fine.
I'm going to send it to him when I'm editing it.
Good. So they buried him there in the exact same place that he died.
You mean buried, like left? Just
left, I assume. They say buried, but
Just
maybe
like
they
kick
just
some dirt on him.
stacked him,
Day.
just stacked him there. Who knows? In the same place that he died. And rumor has it that on each November 3rd, which is the day he went down there, his ghost will haunt the labyrinth of the catacombs.
Just on the 3rd, though.
Apparently you can hear him down there. Who knows? It was a bad day for him.
How do you know it's Philibert?
Listen.
Here's the thing. We gotta go. Just so in the middle of a guided tour,
Philibert.
I can just be like, Philibert! Just start yelling.
Yeah, that's fine. So the next one we actually learned about on a YouTube video when we were quick researching when we were in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
So in 2004, a group of police officers had explored a part of the Paris Catacombs that was restricted to the public. If it's restricted, I don't know why they would also go down there. Okay. Probably just to see if there's any people like us down there.
Well, no, I thought they were doing like a police training.
See, that was on the video, but then when I read about it, it didn't say anything about it.
I read an article that did say that.
Yeah.
So either they were just making their rounds or there was some kind of weird police training.
Because the video said police training, but the article I read, they were just going down to see what was...
Maybe they got a tip or something, I don't know.
See what the goings-ons were down there. But they found... And this area was restricted to the public, and they found some very interesting things. Out-of-place things is what I'll say. While they were down there, they found a PA system with pre-recorded guard dog noises. And then they found 3,000 square feet of galleries that were wired for phones using pirated electricity. The officers also found a bar, a living area, a workshop, a lounge, and even a cinema with room to seat 20 people. The seats that were inside the cinema had been carved into the stones of the catacombs, and the creepiest part was that there were cameras on the ceiling recording them while they were in there, just walking around. So when they left, like, I would feel weird being recorded. Like, I'm a police officer. Well, I'm not a police officer. If I was a police officer, I feel like I'd be like, ooh, okay.
I feel like I would just not, I would do something about it and not leave.
Maybe. But they left. And they went to go find a larger team. And they came back a few days later. I don't know if that's 2, 3, a week, whatever.
See, I would go right to the chief and be like,
we need a team right now. Yeah. So they grabbed a larger team so they could investigate further. And every single thing that was in that little, like, section of space inside of the catacombs was gone. Everything
they were
was
being
gone.
recorded.
Like, the phone lines that were down there were all gone. Camera was gone. It said that even the cinema seats had, like, been covered or destroyed. Yeah. And the only thing that they found was a note that read in French. You know what? I'm not going to risk it. But it translates to don't search for us or don't try to find us, or like some awkward translation of that. There's no way I'll be able to say that.
I wonder if it was like the French mob, or if it was, is there a French mob? There's got to be a French mob.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a mob everywhere.
Okay.
Or like some weird like underground, get it? Hackers.
Yeah.
Like
something. They had phone lines down there. Well, they're trying to keep people out, so they had like the automated guard dog
Well,
sounds.
if I'm gonna be like, you've never seen The Matrix. I hate that every time The Matrix comes up. But like the guy's a hacker, or like the chick that finds him is like this crazy like good hacker.
Yeah.
And if I was gonna be a hacker, I'd do it underground.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Using pirated electricity? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was gone.
We don't know. We'll never know.
It was all gone. We don't know what they were there for, but they were like, don't try to find us, which is like low-key kind of ominous. Like, who are you? Like, who are you to have like I don't know. Like a cinema. That feels like a weird spot for a mafia meeting. Like, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they do it different in Paris.
It's an underground rave club. Come on.
But just like a cinema for 20 people. So you have like at least 20 people that could be there at any given time.
Yeah.
It's just in like a whole
some weird
space.
Cult, and the cinema was like to play their secret messages on a projector and like brainwash people.
That's probably it. I also read that there were tales of Masonic meetings, which also kind of creeped me out in general.
You know what? I think I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Black masses, Nazi gatherings, And
the Nazi gatherings I've read, and you know what? I believe that too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. Gang fights and also, like, serial killers would just, like, hang out down there.
And you know what? The Black Masses, I believe too. Because people, like... The Black Mass thing is just kind of ridiculous. But I bet you during Satanic Panic back in the day, it happened.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. So, I've got a couple of fun facts.
We love fun facts.
Just a couple. They don't really fit anywhere into my story, so...
What's an episode of ours if we don't have, like, a fun fact that doesn't fit anywhere else?
Yeah. So, there's water in the catacombs. Mm-hmm. Like, vast amounts of water. And there's a documentary called The City of the Sea that's about exploring and swimming inside the catacombs. I haven't watched it. I think I will watch it if I can find it.
We're gonna have a movie night.
Because I think it would creep me out a little bit. I don't... Because, you know, there's dead bodies in that water. Or at least bones inside the water.
Corpse water.
Which reminds me, I saw something yesterday on something, and it said, like, we'll swim in oceans and lakes, and there's, like, dead bodies in oceans and lakes, but you wouldn't swim in a pool that has a dead body in it. And the guy was like...
Speak for yourself.
The guy was like, we all have a ratio of water to dead body that we're willing to swim in. And
yeah, well...
I was like, that's so
like
gross.
the movie, the original Poltergeist movie. Like, she gets thrown in the pool, and the pool is full of dead bodies.
I haven't seen that in so long.
It's like, that, like, part sticks out to me.
Of course it does. I also have...
I'm not a murderer or have any fascination with being a murderer, in case you're curious. I just want to clear the air.
Sure. Oh, limestone is what they were mining. That was my other fun facts.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically limestone. I also have that at the entrance of the site at Denfert Rochereau. That sounds okay. I think I did okay. In the south of France, there's a panel warning in 3 different languages that at the, catacomb entrance or whatever, that the visit is, quote, likely to upset especially sensitive people and children.
It's my kind of time.
And then this isn't really like catacomb fun fact, but like...
Catacomb fun fact.
Paris is like referred to as the city of light. And then the catacombs is like the city of darkness or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made that up. I don't think I did, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's all my fun facts.
Thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts with Sunday Night Spookies.
Yeah, I had more, but some of them you already talked about, so...
I'm on it today.
Yeah, you took it from me. But catacombs are slightly terrifying. A little bit more than slightly terrifying. I definitely would like to go in my lifetime.
I wouldn't say they're terrifying in the fact that if you get lost in them, yes, terrifying.
But what if you get lost and then one of those, like, creatures from as above, so below just, like, jumps down from the ceiling and attacks you and rips your eyes out? You don't need them anyway. It's dark.
I can't see shit anyway, so...
That's true. I can't see in the dark for anything, so I'd be donezo if I went in there.
And we let you drive in the dark.
Yeah, I don't know why. I
And you know what?
Can't see anything.
I've gotten into more car accidents than you have.
I've been in one. It's fine. But the sheer amount of ghosts that have to exist in there, I think, is what, like, makes me uncomfortable. I feel like emotionally it would, like, wreck me to go in there just because it's got to be real heavy.
Yeah, see, the part of... This is where you and I differ, because I want to go in there and it's like, can I touch the bones? I just want to touch it and see what happens.
I don't think I want to touch one.
Like, am I going to get, like, a wave of creepy energy if I touch it?
I feel like I would want to touch it because I feel like I'd want to, like Miles on Lost. I just love Lost. I'm sorry, I've been watching it lately, so it's on my mind. But, like, he just, like, touches something that somebody else touched, and he's just like, oh, now I know how this person died.
Yeah, like, can I do that? Or, like,
I just want that to
how do bones feel? I don't know. I promise I don't have, like, this weird, like, desire to be a serial killer.
What do bones feel like? So that's really all we have on the catacombs. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to learn about them. I'm definitely interested in watching that documentary. If you've seen the documentary, mm-hmm. or if you have anything to add about the catacombs, like, does it freak you out? Would you go into them?
Would you stay the night in them? I would.
I would also, but it would be a rough ride for anybody who's with me.
Me.
Yeah, it's fine. Let us know on any of our social media sites. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Sunday Night Spookies, and on Twitter at Sunday Spookies.
We also have a few links in our description box. We have a link for our Instacart, which is like a grocery delivery service. I hate buying groceries, and I always spend way too much money if I go in store. And true. You know what? It's just so much easier to sit on my couch wrapped in a blanket and be like, I want some apples. Just add them to my cart, you know? If you use our link, you get free delivery on your first order of $30 or more. We also have a Buzzsprout link, which is a hosting website we use for our podcast. Everything's in one spot. Like, everything's in one spot. It's such a convenient website to use. We've never had any issues with it. And you get an Amazon gift card if you use our link.
Sure do.
Both of those are affiliate links, so we do get a small kickback, but they're both available. Like, if you Google them, you can sign up without our links. We also have a support the show link. We're two broke college girls. We say it every week. We love adventure. We'll never get to Paris. But you know what? we might be able to get to that location in Ohio you want us to go to.
Yeah, sure that.
So you can donate to our cause if you'd like to. Everything that we get goes right back into getting more content and better content for you guys. Don't forget to also like and rate, subscribe on YouTube. If you rate us on Apple Podcast, that is a huge help. It's got a weird algorithm. The more you rate us and like us on Apple Podcast, the more viewers will see our podcast.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
Yes, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up. You don't even have to watch the whole video if you don't want. Just like thumbs up. It's fine. It's long as it's short. It's cool. It's totally cool. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Sunday Night Spookies.
Join us next week for our episode all about the theory of different dimensions.
New episodes are released every Sunday evening. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, stay spooky.